We definitely have to find something that we can make better, right?
In a world desperate to tear itself apart, only one man, and some other people, stand in the way of total destruction. Together they will right the wrongs, make bad, good, and single-handedly destroy evil, together. Who is this man, you may ask? This man is Geoff.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Geoff Jones and Friends Make It Better, the show that takes one of life's little annoyances, gives them a microphone, a guest, and a podcast, and the unwavering ego to believe you can make absolutely everything better. This is the final show of season 2, and I am so delighted to welcome back, even though I don't think anyone believes me because there's very little evidence, to Remmel from Steve N Seagulls. Just one of my favorite bands, one of my favorite people. Remmel, how are you?
Well, good morning. I'm doing good. It's 10 a.m. here in Finland, and yeah, it's been a little bit of a couple of days off from touring, so all good here.
You guys have hit the touring hard, and even to the end of the year, like you guys are just non-stop at the moment, right?
Well, yeah, it's been so far the year's been really nice for us. We've been touring quite a bit in Europe, and then we did one month tour in North America too. So, but the summer after the mid June until this week has been pretty busy for us too. So yeah, seems like everything is slowly going back to normal after a couple of weird years with the pandemic and everything. So
Yeah, sure.
we've been in Finland, Sweden, mainland Europe, uh, kind of all around. Like that's usually our summer that we keep traveling around Europe quite a bit. So yeah, it's been nice.
Do you do a lot of festivals and bits during the summer?
Yeah, for some reason, most of our festival shows are outside Finland. I don't know why. So, so we've done a couple of festivals here in Finland, and then we started our festival season from Poland in May, I think. So that was quite the early start for the festival season this year. But yeah, I think we still have a couple of festivals to go, at least one in France, and I think we have something in Sweden coming up too. So festivals, different kinds of events. We even do club shows in the summer because we're just we're not really picky of what we tour or what we play in. So anything they throw to our direction, we're always hitting the green button. Okay, okay.
Well, I know. I mean, because I think your music brings so much joy to so many people. I mean, yeah, keep hitting that green button. I'd love to know how is it taken in North America? Like because your bluegrass style, your finish, you're like what? How are you? Do they react to you over there?
Well, all the way from the uh, well, the band was originally started in 2010, but I think people in North America started to notice us after the first couple of videos the summer of 2014. So all the way from the first videos, we started getting messenger messages or emails and stuff like that from North America, and I think most of them have been really positive. I feel that since they have really long history with bluegrass and this type of instrumentation and music, they seem to be really happy that there's also new flavors coming into it, and just
Yeah.
rarely we have bumped into people that don't approve the way that we use their traditional instruments. But I understand that also. I mean, I know that it's an important thing for a lot of people there, but the people have been really nice towards us, and it's it's always nice to tour in US because for bluegrass, it's kind of like the mainland,
Yeah.
especially certain areas in that country. Maybe the best areas, or not the best areas, but the more popular areas for us or our music are northern parts of the country by the Great Lakes, and then both coasts have been really good for us too. We haven't toured in Florida. I want to say the southeast part of the country is kind of the area that we haven't been touring much yet, but maybe we'll get there one day too.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. And it's obviously you say that kind of 2014. I mean, I'm guessing probably like most people, it's the Thunderstruck video just has been wild. I mean, 127 million views. It's
Yeah, that's
oh,
weird.
that's obscene. I mean, it's well deserved, but that's massive. And even as cause I've listened to you guys on Spotify as I'm go to well, the occasions when I do exercise, you guys are my my go-to music. But that's, I mean, Thunderstruck is what 10 million listens, and it still has, even though it's what 10 years old, it's like 250,000 listens a month or it's just like people just embrace it. But I think because it's obviously a well-known, very famous song, but
Yeah.
your spin on it, and it just works perfectly. Like that, I know for you, you're probably sick of listening to something you did 10 years ago, but it's almost like a phenomenon. Like just how much after a few drinks in my house, it always. I mean, in fact, probably maybe 74 of those 174 million views are me. I'm
Well, we are thankful. Thank you.
yeah, I'm not sure how that affects the revenue, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's strange that it's already 10 years ago. I can't put my head into that spin, that it's been 10 years, but I mean, we were really fortunate with that video, and I guess something clicked there that people find some of our videos really easy to approach, and then it kind of reflects to the live shows too when we are at the merch desk before or after the show. It seems that people find it easy to come and talk to us, even though we don't know them or they don't know us. So it's maybe there's some kind of a connection that music and this type of music brings to this whole thing, which is really nice because we've talked to many people from different countries, and it's always really nice to hear about their culture and life and everything. So I really enjoy the fact that there's some kind of easiness with everybody in this thing that we do, and it's really nice.
I I think that's a great point. It's a testament to you guys because if you look at, and I'm just going to take the Thunderstruck video for kind of as the example here, but it's almost like the videos are almost parody, but the how it's technically put together, and obviously the composition of your music and everything is extremely professional. So maybe people, I think it what am I trying to say? It kind of people relate to it because you take your craft very seriously, but you're also happy to kind of show personality within it. And you've taken a famous song and put your spin on it, and the video you're on driving around on tractors, but it's like a parody, but done in just the most kind of professional way that people can't help but take you seriously, but also it's relatable. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
you don't come across in your music or your videos that you're caught up in yourselves. Like you're doing it because you love doing it.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I guess, like I said, maybe we were a little bit fortunate to hit some kind of a certain spot with the videos that people find them maybe relatable or something. So yeah, I'm happy to hear that.
It's great. So you guys have been around since 2010. Like, how did it like? Did it start as just a group of friends coming together? Was this a serious project from the start, and this was what you envisioned where you are now? Like, how did it start off?
Well, some of the guys who started the band, like our accordion player Hiltunen and our banjo player Herman, they played in a different band, and this Steve N Seagulls thing was supposed to be like a short side project for this kind of themed tour for, I don't know, 20 shows or something. So that's how this thing got started. But then it just kind of went on, and the lineup changed a little bit. I joined in 2013, towards the end of the year. And yeah, I guess the whole span of the band all the way to this day is that it keeps changing a little bit all the time. We try to bring in new instruments, new flavors. So it started from a side project and was kind of there all the time. And then 2014, when we released some of the videos, they just for some reason became viral, and we started getting more and more messages and calls from different countries that, can you tour here? Some people thought that we were from US, so they asked us that, can you come and play here next weekend? And we were like, well, that could be a little tricky, but yeah, that's how it got started, and it's been going on like that, kind of with the same ideology from there, that we just try to keep it as much fun as we can, and try to evolve the whole thing all the time. We got some new songs coming up, and I feel that the studio sessions that we did for the next album were different, but there was a lot of same flavor as before, when it comes to kind of having fun with the music, not goofing off, but just enjoying the music and having fun with it. But on the other hand, we also take it really serious when it comes to music and playing. I think if we didn't do that little bit, or the small part of it really seriously, I don't think we could have done it for 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So there's both sides to it. There's a lot of fun to it, and then we also try to make it as good as we can. So, but it makes it a lot of fun that there's the humorous element in there, because we don't have to take ourselves so seriously.
That's and maybe that is where that, I know, you hit that perfect algorithm of great music, great composition, and fun, and people just, and I think especially the last 5 years, maybe 10 years, everyone's needed a little bit of that. I have to pick up on something you said. Now, last time you came on, so if people are joining us for the first time, you guys came on about a year ago, and you're closing out season 1, and we had a 2-hour chat, and you were kind of touring then as well, and we were talking about, like, because it was coming up was your Larger Than Life section of the tour in the UK. And there was kind of recent, or not recently, but there had been a kind of an EP, a single that had come out, and then we spoke. I asked you about an album, and you were kind of saying, yeah, well, there's something in this other, but you've just said that next year we're getting the album.
Well, yeah, the album, our fifth album is already recorded, and I think it's partially even mixed already. But there's been a little bit of a delay in releasing it, so I think we released one single from those sessions already, and I think we have another one coming before the end of the year, or I want to say in a month or two, and the whole album should be out next year. So we are really looking forward to it because it's been a while since our fourth album, but there was the pandemic and everything, and that really messed up some of the schedules. We had a lot of gigs that were postponed. We had to do those, or we were happy to do those, because I know that a lot of bands had a lot of canceled shows, and we were really fortunate that most of our shows were not canceled; they were just postponed. So, but yeah, I think I forgot the original question, but there is a new album coming out.
No, that you've answered it. So okay, so you've got a couple of singles coming out, and then
Yeah,
early 2025 for the album.
I hope so. I hope that it's coming out before the summer. Like I said, we have another single coming out this year, and I think we have 2 videos coming out before the end of this year. So I think next year, maybe early spring, would be really cool. But there's a lot of things that that is not in our hands, like schedules and stuff like that. Those things are usually there are professionals in the companies that release albums. They know better than we do. So if I've made the decision of the timing of the album, it probably would not work really well. So
just I guess you want people to hear it, just get it out there. But yes, there's people that are trained in it who just say, "Oh no, we have to wait for the perfect moment."
Yeah, and yeah, like I said, the pandemic really. I mean, it really messed up a lot of things when it comes to schedules and things getting postponed and everything. So, but I mean, we're back on the road now and everything, so we're not worried. We're just kind of really anxious to get the new album out, but it'll come out eventually.
Good. Well, I'll have my notifications ready, set and ready for when it comes out. Also, I had to, unless there is one out there and I've missed it. Are you ever going to do a Christmas song?
Like a whole Christmas song?
I was talking about the other day, and that your style of music, that bluegrass style, and just thrown on like a driving home for Christmas, just a complete flip on the head of what your standard Christmas songs are. And now I had to. It was one of the promises I made myself. It was I have to ask if you would consider it.
Well, of course we would. I think we have 2 like a Christmas theme videos out. The other one was the first song made in our tree house in Seagulls Nest. We did a song. We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister with the Santa Claus, and there was like a little portion of Feliz Navidad in there. So I think that's the closest to Christmas song that we've come so far.
That's a teaser for me. That's a teaser.
We'll definitely consider this. I think we should maybe make Christmas songs a little bit better, right?
Oh my goodness, I could talk for hours about Christmas songs. Oh yeah, I Christmas song, they've rolled out the same ones. This is a bit sad, I enjoy a Christmas song, but the same ones are rolled out year after year. Every so often you get a cover guy. I think it was George Ezra did a great for a BBC thing, but it's never released. So, but otherwise it's your Mariah Careys and the Pogues, and sure, lots of people love these songs, but it's just the same. So we need someone to take the bull by the horns and say, here is your next 10 years worth of Christmas songs. The new ones, get rid of the old ones. Everything's from the 80s, get rid of it.
Yeah. Except, I mean, there's some few classics like what's the notorious Wham song? What's it called?
Oh, Last Christmas.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Christmas.
I mean,
Or you could give that a go.
A lot of people don't like it, but I kind of enjoy the mixture of 80s.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really like Christmas. I've always loved Christmas. I mean, I get to see all my siblings and friends and relatives and everything like that. And when you combine that, that feeling to an 80s pop song, I think you're into something.
Nostalgia
You're
overload.
close to genius, yeah.
I'd say that does bring like, and sorry, this is going to be an incredibly boring question. I just don't know how it works. But like, is there a lot of fighting for kind of the rights to be able to release the cover songs? Like, if you were to take Last Christmas and put your spin on it, is there like, do you need permissions and things, or can you just do it and release it and pay like I don't know how that works.
Yeah, you have to, if you want to release it on an album, you have to ask for permission, and there are certain type of regulations and paperwork you have to fill in or fill and do before you can release it on an album. But for us, it's usually been working quite well. We don't usually change the lyrics at all, which is one of the key elements. That if you change the lyrics or you translate them or something, I think then it gets more complicated. And we tried in our heads at least to honor the original songs. So I think if they have listened to them, they don't maybe consider them as mockery or anything like that. I think there's one song on our third album we made a Jimi Hendrix cover, and I think we ended up having a little bit trouble with the rights for that song. Or I remember something like that, but usually it's been, you have to ask permission, you have to have certain type of paperwork done, but usually it's been
pretty easy.
Everybody's been pretty cool about it,
and so they should. But okay, well, if you get any troubles from whoever holds the rights to Wham songs when you want to produce a Last Christmas bluegrass cover, then the fans will mobilize. We'll set up petitions, and we'll get it across the line.
Yeah.
I'm taking this now as a verbal contract that you're going to look into Christmas songs, or hey, no pressure, but an entire Christmas album.
That could be something.
No, not to give you more work to do.
Yeah.
I'd love that. I mean, for you, so we're sat here in August talking about Christmas, but so family's kind of a big, it's a big kind of thing for you, a big part of your life. How do they react? Like your siblings, are they older than you, younger than you? Like that family dynamic. Do they think what you're doing is absolutely like crazy? Like, because you guys are huge, and how have they taken this journey, and especially the style of music? Like, I'll tell you what. Hang on, before you answer that, let me predate that question. When you joined the band in 2013, were you already performing similar type of music to what Steve N Seagulls were doing, or was it a big change for you?
Well, I did not play bluegrass at all. I did play some music that was a little bit country flavored. I played a lot in bands that are more towards rock or even metal at some point. But this type of thing was something really new for me too. I mean, I didn't play mandolin that much before I joined into this band.
Who does?
Yeah, I know. I still ask that question from me every morning when I wake up. Like, why do I do this? Luckily, I have a really good support from Hiltunen, our accordion player, who also plays mandolin, so we can sit down for beer and ask that from each other, like why do we keep playing mandolin? But yeah, I used to do a lot of small bar shows and stuff like that, just by myself with the guitar and harmonica or something like that. So I guess there's always been the acoustic flavor to the songs that I've played or the music that I've listened to. But yeah, there's always been a lot of music in my family, and people being listening to music. Um, so yeah, I think everybody was really cool about it, and they've been really supportive too. So I think that's wonderful. Music is it's a big important thing in my family. So it's really nice, and my siblings and family have been to our shows occasionally when we are in a certain city or something. So it's been really nice. They've been really nice towards it. Yeah.
I'm glad they've been like they've been really nice. Like he's off following
Yeah.
his dreams, just oh yeah. I mean, because
Yeah.
I think it's I would say well yeah okay. I'm a fan, so it's a object. But if one of my family members was in a band, you think yeah okay that's cool. When are you going to get a real job? Oh okay. Oh now and it's like, oh, the Thunderstruck video comes out. Oh, okay, you have 127 million views on YouTube. That's maybe you are. This is a serious job, but I suppose
Yeah.
that's that. I suppose this modern mentality, isn't it? That I know this inverted commas real job versus hobbies, and actually, what you have is I can't. I mean, I have tried learning instruments, and I can't. The only skill I have is being able to talk absolute nonsense. Like that's the only skill I have. And people say, "Wow, you're kind of good at that." I was like, "It's just me talking nonsense." But so obviously, you know the show. We've had creatives on from music, authors, comedians, and
Mm.
film directors, and yeah, getting the creative people who at some point have all had someone say, "Yeah, but do you think it's time that you got you got to you got to get ground down by the man? You're 9 to 5," and I mean, you've had obviously that family backing. Was there ever a moment in your kind of early musical career where I don't know, you just thought this isn't going to happen, or will you always just do it for the love, do it for something will happen? Like what was your mindset in the early days?
Well, I think all the way until 2011 or something, I always played music because it's been a. I mean, of course, everybody says this, but for me, it's always been a passion. I still keep buying vinyls and books about music, and I keep spending my money on different kind of instruments. And whenever there's possibility, I go and see live shows and everything. So for me, since I was a kid, I've always really enjoyed music, listening to it, watching like live concerts from VHS or DVDs after that. And so I used to play a lot of shows while working somewhere else. So I would be working in a kindergarten or music store or whatever I was doing, and during the weekends I would, you know, go and play somewhere. So I don't think at any point I really thought that someday I could actually do this 100% for my work, or get my income from this. But um, I still thought that I would do it for years and years, because I've always found it really. It's a strange thing, because playing live is really stressful for me. I'm really sometimes really really shy when it
Yeah,
comes to performing in front of people. But then on the other hand, it's so much fun that it's it's hard to describe it with words. It's just a blast every time when you are able to play live music in front of live audience. So
it,
I don't
it's
even know what kind of plans I had earlier. I think I just played kind of all the shows that I could get, and I would fill in for some bands with a guitar or bass or something. And whenever there was an offer that can you come play live here, I would be like, well, if it's doable and it's some kind of music that I somehow know, I would do it. So, but I've always been like a really bad on planning my career or anything like that. I've been terrible at that. So it's I'm not one of those people that you can read on these business magazines or something that, when I was 12 I started planning my career as an investor or whatever. It's I just really love music, and I think that's been my kind of my driving force towards it. And nowadays when I get money from playing music, I keep spending it on music, on guitars and stuff like that. So
Keeping the business alive. That's
yeah.
Oh, that's great. I hope you don't mind. Can I just touch on what you said about that kind of shyness and that nervousness before shows? Is that because obviously you've been doing it for an awful long time? Is it a kind of a nervous excitement? Is it an anxiety? Are you worried that things aren't going to go right, or are you just is it like an overwhelming thing, or is it just you're actually quite shy or quite introvert, and this is, even though it's natural, it's because you can have a kind of internal extroverts, external introverts, basically someone who appears to be confident and everything, but is actually quite an introvert kind of at heart, and almost that performance side is a mask, or it's a performer or a different person to the person to who it like. What is that for you? Because you just say that it must be second nature almost.
Well, I think it's a combination of a lot of things that you mentioned. I think it's I don't have any kind of anxiety attacks or anything before going on stage. I tend to be a little bit nervous. Uh, for years and years and years, I've been that type of a person who keeps thinking like, okay, are they gonna like this at all? Am I gonna make a fool out of myself? Am I gonna screw up and then make a fool out of myself?
Yeah.
This kind of reels going back and forth in my head. But over the years, I've learned to live with the fact that sometimes I'm not the most I've learned to live with my side that is the more shy person there. So I think it's about being a little bit worried that, is this going to be, are the people going to think this is terrible, or then am I going to, be able to perform as well as I want to? And all these weird things combined.
You guys are performers as well. You don't stand up there and play the music. It's a show, isn't it? And so that if you set high standards, it's then one thing which is always said to me is at some point 100% becomes 110%, and that 110% is the new 100%, and you can't carry on like that. Like, you have the best show. When I used to kind of stand up or other projects, like at some point you got to appreciate, right, the best shows happened. I can't keep trying to go over that, because otherwise you're going to just completely burn out. And if you don't hit it again, you have that nervousness, that keep questioning, well, am I not as good as I was? Or why am I not as good on that day? But I think that happens to a lot of creators, a lot of musicians and comedians and actors and people, because a lot of being a performer is I kind of just want people to like what you do and love it as much as you do. I mean, you guys absolutely love what you do. A lot of people love what you do.
Yeah.
But I suppose there's always that risk you turn up somewhere and then think, oh, actually, this isn't quite what this isn't quite what I thought it would be. But that's obviously out of the norm and not what you would usually have, which is raucous and raucous fans just enjoying the show.
Yeah. And the one thing that you said, that it's like a music thing, but it's also a show or something like that, when you said I think that's one thing that kind of makes it interesting and also hard, because I think at least in our type of music where there's some humor and then there's like the more serious side to us, which is maybe the playing the instruments and trying to be as good as we can on that. If we would go on stage and try to kind of uh, play ourselves, or play a character up there, I think that would not work that well. So that's why it's kind of that's why we try to keep it as fun as possible and just be ourselves up there, and that's kind of that makes it a little bit nerve-wracking, at least for me sometimes, because when you're there as your own person or persona or whatever, it's you're pretty open to all kind of evaluation when it comes to people, because it would be easier if, well, I don't know if it would be easier, but if we would have like actual characters and go up there, but yeah, we try to keep it as natural as possible, because that way every show is different and there are things happening on stage that we cannot predict. And have a few beers, play some music, have a good time.
But that's what.
And at the same, yeah. So
this us, it's nice and early. Say nice. It's early for me. So usually I record in the evening, because you've so kindly fit me into your schedule. We're doing this in the morning, and usually before I start recording this show, I've had a couple of drinks, just to settle the nerves, because I like you. I just want it to be good, and my biggest thing about doing this show is that the guests like it. I mean, yes, if listeners enjoy it, that's fantastic. But I want my guests to think you give up your time to come on my little part of the internet, and I want you to think, oh, you know what, that Geoff, he's a nice guy. I'm glad that I went. I'm happy that I did. It that means more to me almost than anything else.
Yeah.
But also because I can just put it out on the internet, and okay, people can comment and things, but that's the internet. People are going to do that. Whereas when you do it live, I did this 2 live shows back in May, with guests, and I was the most nervous I couldn't have a couple of beers beforehand, because it was kind of because of the time, but it was so nerve-wracking because it'd been so long since I've been on a stage. And there wasn't millions of people. There was a small room with a good handful of people, and it went well. But ever since, I kind of I'm doing more. We're going to do more, but also I'm scared that they won't all go as well as as well as that did. So I suppose it's that kind of extra, because I can sit here and talk, but I'm actually depthly afraid of what people think of it. If you leave today and say, oh yeah, I just that Geoff guy, don't worry, we won't hear from him again, like, thank goodness he's gone. That's how my mind is, but obviously we're best friends now, so it's it's not going to happen. But I think we've had a lot of people on the show talk about things like kind of chronic shyness and anxiety, mental health, all these things, and it does seem to be a common feature with creatives, as is alcohol. Because everyone's very healthy in dealing with it.
I mean, it's an interesting thing that like you said, a lot of people who perform are involved in giving something out for people to see or hear, find it really nerve-wracking or somehow difficult, or are shy or something, and still people keep doing it. So it's a weird balance between being afraid and then getting something out of it that you can't get from anywhere else.
Well, that rush, you get a rush after a performance, and especially kind of that high octane, your performance, you've just put on a whole show. I mean, It must just kind of, I don't know, addictive, intoxicating. Just like it must take hours just to come down, or are you just so tired because you're constantly gigging that it's actually very easy just yeah, you kind of you get
Yeah.
the high, but then you just kind of crash after that.
Yeah.
How's that post show feeling for you?
For me, it's usually really. Uh, I'm always pumped with energy. It's. I think after a really good show, or most of the times after the show, I just have this huge level of energy, which is. I think it can be really annoying to some people. I probably speak. I mean, I keep probably talking a lot after the shows, mostly, but it's. uh, To be honest with you, we really have a lot of fun on stage, like as a band, and we really enjoy the live shows are maybe the main thing for us. That's what we feel that we are good at, or that's how it feels to us. I mean, we love doing albums and we love doing videos, of course, but playing live and there are so many things happening on stage that we cannot predict, and sometimes we just, you know, fall down laughing in the middle of the show because somebody does something, or it's so really is for us. That's like a fun event on
Yeah.
stage, and so after this, we feel really energetic. I mean, sometimes we've had technical issues or there's been something happening on stage that we can't really do anything about. So of course that's not that's not good. But most of the times we have a super good. We are really happy to have like one of the best sound technicians around. He's been with us. He's part of the band. He's like the sixth seagull. He's been with us. I want to say 8 years or something. So he makes our time on stage a lot easier because we can really rely on him doing all the technical stuff
Yeah.
100%. So we don't have, you don't have that feeling in the back of your head that, something is going to happen. So,
You got that confidence to go and do what you do because you know there's someone who's got your back and is making sure it goes kind of the behind the scenes bit goes well.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I have a friend of mine who is an athlete, like a professional athlete in winter sports. He's been to Olympics and everything. He's really good at that, and we've had a lot of talks about the similarities between being an athlete or being a musician. That you have to be really focused when it comes to a show or a competition, and then because it's all the elements are not easy for. Like we
Mhm.
said, you can be really nervous or shy when you go on stage, and then when you are an athlete, you go there, you have to, for I don't know, half an hour, you have to be like really good. So not after it or before, but actually
That
there
moment.
when it happens. So we've talked a lot that after the show or after the athlete is done, it's a similar thing that you're not relieved, but you're kind of really happy that you were able to do that, the most important thing. And at the same time, you can feel a little bit tired, but you're also,
Yeah.
really happy. So I think it's one of the best feelings after the show. If the show has been really good, you can just, have a beer, go to the merch desk and, meet people, uh, maybe sell some t-shirts on the side there. And, it's just, it, like I said earlier, it's something that you can't get the feeling from anything else. It's
Yeah.
it's really strange. It's hard to even describe, but it's a good feeling after the show. So yeah.
Are you during a show? Do you feel completely in control, or is it almost just going by in a blur, and at the end you think, oh yeah, that was pretty good, like your mind through it, like because I one thing I always struggle with when being in front of people is my mind can wander and I can get distracted. Now, obviously, I'm not playing an instrument, so that must focus your mind to a certain extent anyway. But then also, is it second nature? I don't know. Maybe I do need to learn an instrument, and then then actually I'll understand the kind of the mindset of it a bit more. Like, yeah, okay. So back to the original question. I've waffled it out, but your mindset during the show, are you fully in control and and enjoy it, or is it almost autopilot? Like, I know because it's like you put on such a great performance and you're in the moment, but I'm just wondering, like, does I don't know, a 2 hour show, an hour show, does it feel like it's taken a long time, or does it just go by in a blur and then you think, oh, that was good.
Well, it depends a little bit. For example, after the summer, I think October, November, we are doing a long mainland European tour, which is total of I think almost 6 weeks in two parts, of course. And we do 3 weeks of shows, like a show every night. So that's gonna be 20 something shows
Wow.
in a row. So sometimes in a long tour like that, it's it gets really hard to focus for the show, at least before the show. So um, probably not in full control of it, but it's that's actually a really good question. I've never really thought about that.
So, and it's a bit too early to be thinking of existential.
But it's something it's probably a mixture of rehearsing and practicing the songs so that you have the basic idea that I know these songs, and after that you can kind of enjoy playing as a group. I tend to listen to a lot of our drummers, snare drum and bass drum, and some days it feels like we are on the same spot, like the whole band. It's just you can almost guess that if somebody is doing something different, that okay, something's gonna happen on this side or whatever. And I think some days when you are really tired or when you have done a lot of shows in a row, you start to think about things too much. Like um, it's not autopilot, but it's just like a natural thing. When you start a song, this is how it goes, and I'm just it's kind of like hopping into a car for 3.5 minutes. It just goes on for some reason, and but yeah, when you are tired, you might start during the show or during a song, you might start thinking about okay, what's coming next, what part is coming next, or what lyrics are coming next, and I feel that those are the most difficult shows or situations in the show when you are actually trying to think too much of what are you doing or what are you supposed to do. So I guess it's a mixture of rehearsing and practicing the songs together that they are in your backbone, and then you just kind of give all that extra that comes from the live situation and all that energy and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing as earlier, that if we would start performing some sort of characters or whatever, I think it's the same thing, that if we would start to, or at least for me, if I would start to analyze or think about what I'm doing at the moment too much, I think it would not work that well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Am I being somehow understandable?
Yeah.
That's my goal this morning, trying to be somehow understandable.
That's today's number one on the list of goals is to be somewhat understandable.
Yeah.
I love what you said during that bit of it sometimes feels like you're all in the same spot, just where everything, well, I from what I gather, it's almost effortless. Everyone is just so in tune with each other during the kind of that performance that just makes it easier just to put on a great show, have a great feeling from it. And I know that must be the moments during a performance when
Mm,
you know it's a good show, you know what you're doing is great and it's worth it and people enjoy it, and you just got that almost spiritual connection because you're so in tune with each other. And it was so, I mean, you don't have to elaborate if you don't wish to, but it just seemed to be a really, I don't know, just for me, the image of that is almost cinematic. Yeah, of what you
yeah,
just said.
yeah. Maybe that's one of the reasons why people, what we talked about earlier, that why people perform, since it's a little nerve wracking. But I guess that those moments are one of the reason
Yeah.
that you would perform, even though it takes a lot of energy or is nerve wracking or whatever. But yeah, I guess that's one of the things that it's kind of like sometimes when you have a really good conversation with somebody and it goes on for hours and it's not, boring at all.
Yeah, it's no effort. I mean,
Yeah,
you can you
usually
can
it's
use
the
me as an example. It's fine. You know, this it's I won't get a big head. Sorry,
well,
continue.
somehow it just popped in the mind that when you're speaking with somebody who's intelligent and you know
Charming and yeah,
yeah, who has a really nice shirt on and
he's got the show. Oh, and obviously humble as well. That is,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know what you mean. Always those late nights of just, yeah, the effortless conversation, or almost someone that you. I always equate that to almost a perfect, comfortable silence when you're so
Mm,
comfortable with someone that you can just enjoy being in the moment of I don't know, the universe, and even though someone there with you, there's no expectation to it because it's that comfortable.
yeah.
Um, here's a question then, and this may lead on to the, you know, we didn't define a subject to make better, but maybe it would, we'll come up with this question.
All
If
right.
that, if you could bottle that euphoria after a great show and you had the option then of continue putting on the big shows
Mm-hmm.
and hoping to get it, or you can have the bottle of the magic euphoria juice and play in small bars and yeah, take a bit of that and get the feet. Like if if mm, if you could, ah, I should have thought about this question before I went for it. Okay, I'm going to cut this bit and come back.
Okay.
No, if you can, if you could bottle that feeling
Yeah.
and you had the choice of either carry on the path you're on
Mm.
or and hope that you reach it, or guarantee that feeling of euphoria, but you're playing to, you know, a dozen people in a bar somewhere. What would you choose? Like, would you choose the guarantee high, or do you love the graft and the touring and the work that you're putting in to reach that high? Does that make
Oh,
sense?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I would. I, I would definitely choose the touring and the work, and it's hard for me even to call it work because it's something that I really enjoy traveling together as a group. I really enjoy touring, even though it takes a lot of time and it makes some things in life a little bit more difficult. It's still uh, there's so much into it. The the high or the feeling that you get from playing music on stage, that's one big thing, but there's so much more that happens off stage
Hmm.
as a group, and as you get so many unforgettable memories and things, and you meet so many wonderful people, and you get to do things like this, or all this stuff that happens along when you're, I don't even know what is where we are or where somebody's trying to go to,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
as long as we can do this, and as long as we can play in front of people, I think that's something to aim for. It would be kind of, it's tempting to take the other option because you would get that, feeling, and that would be guaranteed. But maybe it makes it even more. Maybe it makes it better to not be 100% sure if it's going to work.
Yeah.
That well this time, because then it kind of I keep getting back into this weird thought that why is it nerve-wracking and why is it so tempting to be kind of on the edge all the time. So I would choose I wouldn't choose the bottle.
No, and I think you're right.
A lot of time I do choose the bottle.
The thing is, because I suppose a lot of the time that euphoria, comes from a good show, but they say a crowd will only see that segment of everything going well, and they'll go off and they'll tell their friends and say, "This we went to a great show." But you guys have put in the decade of work to be able to to perfect your craft, to be in that position where you're all in sync on stage, and you've given a paying customer something absolutely fantastic. So maybe that's all part of it. But what I loved the most was that thought of the journey. For you, and even in 24 years, let alone the last 10 years, the show is, I know, from getting to the venue to it finishes 4 5 hours, whatever it is. But the journey just in that day of getting it, the waking up in the morning, or what you did last night, if it wasn't another gig, you've got stories to share and to tell, or to keep secret between you and the band, for all the laughs and arguments or wrong turns, whatever it is, support, upset, missing people. You've got this story, and it kind of culminates in getting that, I suppose, euphoric moment of playing on stage where it's all gone well, and you come off at night. I mean, I'd be like you. If I get excited, I cannot control myself. I'll come off this, and I will talk my wife's ear off about this whole thing, and then she'll listen as I kind of start replaying it. Oh, hang on, Geoff, but did you do that? Did you say? Oh, hang on. And then the doubt comes in, and then it's and then I listen to it back and I edit it, and I can get rid of all the bits where I sound like I'm rambling, pretty much like now. And I can try and make it out like I sound incredibly funny and intelligent by the time this gets edited or released. And I think, I'm pretty lazy actually, so I'd probably take the bottle, give it, and I'd be like, I got up here, I walk the dog. Yeah, I'll take some of that, so I feel good about it. Well, actually, maybe that says more about me than. Oh, actually, yeah, maybe I'm just maybe I've just got an addictive personality. There we go. Maybe I just need a pat on the back every time I do something. I put the bins out. Yay! I feel great about it. Right. Okay. This is the last question, Dan. And this is kind of because I've enjoyed this. This is you've been talking to a fan, not a host of a show. And I hope that's okay. But to make it relevant, if you could make touring better, or how would you make touring better given the chance? What, is it already great for you, or would a bigger bus or cheaper or less, I know, smelly clothes laying around, and like what is it that annoys you about touring the most, and what would you change given the opportunity?
I mean, of course, a bus would be a nice thing. We keep touring with vans mainly, because I think I would start with the with the. I mean, if this is something I could tell to a magician or a genie or something, so we don't have any limits, I would ask them to push the different continents closer to each other, so we didn't have to fly anywhere. I really don't like flying, and I don't like the fact that we have to go there with 30 cases of instruments, and every time they are I have a huge respect for the people working at the counter because they still keep smiling and they still keep being polite, even though I think on the inside they're like, okay, these
Wait,
guys again.
is it
With
just
their,
so you've got all this stuff? Is it just the six of you who travel? So have
mainly,
you?
yeah, abroad. We sometimes have a light technician with us. He does all the shows in Finland and Sweden and which are possible, but yeah.
That's a lot of stuff to to
I
get through
know.
customs, to get
I
through
know, and
baggage.
yeah, and I mean, getting them on to the counter is one thing, and then another thing is being nervous and anxious if they are going to be at the place where you land.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is with the customs, with the paperwork, which is of course different in every country, and
Oh,
and 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 all that kind of stuff. So I would definitely make touring better by pushing the continents closer to each other, so we could take a boat, have our own van, have our own trailer, and then just take that rusty van everywhere. So that would be
take
so much easier than going somewhere and okay, here's the rental van, which is you know
yeah.
6 meters too short, looked bigger in the picture, and then we are traveling with an accordion or a lap for 3 hours.
Oh, literally, you've destroyed my whole vision that you guys tour around in glitz and glamour. It's just three hours with an accordion sat on your lap after going through baggage with people just muttering under their breaths because you're holding up the queue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I might have been little. Uh, it might be not as bad as I maybe made it sound, but there's a lot of stuff happening at the airports and at the customs that I would be happy to get rid of.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that would make it a lot easier for us. So, and easier in this case would be a lot better too. So it would be a lot less stress and the first beer that we take wouldn't be like one of those, give me a beer.
The first one's for sinking, the second's for drinking. That's
yeah.
Oh, I love that. But that's
Yeah.
part of the journey, isn't it? That's part of the story. That's part of what makes that, when you get to the gig and you put on the show and it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah. And in the end, a lot of those things turn into positive memories. But at that spot when you are really nervous that, okay, they lost the banjos or they lost something that we really need. I remember in France,
unless it's a mandolin, they can get rid of that.
yeah. Keep it wherever it is. I remember one time we were in France and something got lost on the way. I think it was one of the cases that has really important stuff when it comes to actually getting the audio to the people, so kind of an important thing. And we went to the counter and this really nice person working at the counter I remember well, anyway, this person just was really polite and said, I have no idea where your case is. Just being 100% honest to us. And we were like, okay, well.
Great.
That kind of sucks. But in the end, that's really honest. So they eventually found
you're
it.
Such a nice guy. It's like, oh, okay. I appreciate your honesty that that's an integral part of why we're here in the country.
Yeah.
But
and you actually say to us that you have no idea where it is.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Love that. Basically, say anything as long as they're polite. And it's
yeah.
Yeah, okay. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, somehow.
Well, there we go. So, I mean, essentially, then to make it better, it's just basically move the whole planet into one lump, kind of almost de-aging by a few million years, like before the actual continent separated. and we could
Yeah.
just walk everywhere or get in our vans and go, and we don't have to worry about losing banjos.
Yeah, I think boats and ferries are kind of nice. So you could have like a little bit in between, so you can take like a boat cruise,
Yeah,
maybe overnight, have a few drinks,
it's so
go
much
watch
easier.
yeah, go
I
watch the Midnight Soul or whatever is on there. But
I went on a small cruise recently with my wife, and just the whole experience compared to flying
mm,
was amazing. I will if I can get a boat somewhere now, I will get or ship. I will take it because it was just a life-changing experience. Like you could
yeah,
you turn up, your bags get to your room, and you've got a drink in your hand before you've even checked out your room. So okay,
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, my kind of travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. I agree.
Oh dear. Uh, well, I've enjoyed it. So the second time, I'm glad that I've double checked about 50 times that this has been recording.
Yep.
After the last, you are on the season 2 opener. I kind of do a highlight of I did a 5-minute opener for the season and
Yeah.
said, this should have been episode 1. This is what's coming, and at the end of it, it's just got the three of you saying goodbye. Like the three of you never wrong, because that's all I had was you guys saying
Yeah.
goodbye. And I said, yeah, I've had these guys on Steve N Seagulls, and everyone knows it. Everyone says, oh yeah, I know them, and it's like, yeah, but it didn't record. Like, oh yeah, of course then, yeah, okay, yeah, you definitely
Yeah.
had them on, didn't you? And I did. I did. They're coming back on. I'm sure they are, Jeff. They are. So I'm so appreciative. Yeah, you've kept in contact. You said you'd come back on, and you have. And I again, and at least everyone can enjoy kind of this conversation. The last one, that was so. I think about 2 hours we were talking. Then my whole soul was completely crushed. And at the end of it, I still had to rush off and I think pick up my son from swimming or something like that. So
Yeah.
it was just like, and I was sat there just at the leisure centre where my son's having a swimming lesson, just like, I can't believe that happened. I don't, I don't know what happened. But you came back.
It's it's with computers and technology. I mean, at least for me, because I can use these gadgets, but I'm not that deep into them that if something happens, I probably won't be able to fix something. So I, I can relate to that feeling that when you realize that, okay, something happened that I've been working for a couple of hours now, and you are 99% sure that it's gone.
Yeah.
It's a terrible feeling. The instant sweat coming out. It's like, what?
Yeah, yeah, it was crushing, but no,
Yeah,
and which is why I see it, but because you could have said, well, what an amateur, not come back, and that's a big thing that played on my mind. Talking about these kind of highs and lows of performing and doing, being a creative is that was in the 2 years now that been doing this show. That was in 2 hours of my life. That was the high of having you guys
yeah.
on with the crushing load. There was
Oh,
there was nothing. So you come back on and you've refilled my dream of having you on. We're pushing the continents together. We've had a fantastic chat about the seagulls and the tour. And there's more seagulls nests coming. Or is it you're touring too much to hit the nest at the moment?
well, there's the question and the answer. We have been planning this special kind of segment of, I don't know, 2 to 4 episodes, and we have this theme in mind. We have some guests in mind, but at the moment we have been touring so much that it's basically impossible right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have plans, and we still have the treehouse. We're gonna shoot some videos there, and hopefully at some point we can get some guests there. I think it would be, during the pandemic, it was a good thing for us to keep the band going and have something to do, keep the music going, and it was just we were stunned that they were actually like really legendary guys and performers from Finland saying yes to that. We were like, okay, they're coming actually. So it was so much fun, but it takes a certain amount of time to shoot one episode, so we have to figure out the calendar a little bit. But hopefully we can do the next 2 to 4 episodes. We have a really good theme in mind, so
Brilliant.
We'll see what happens.
Well, I look forward to seeing them, and I look forward to the new singles, or the second single coming out from the album towards the end of this year. 2 more videos coming on. This is what you promised
this year,
and the album next year.
Yeah.
I'll be keeping out for when you're back in the UK as well. And I thank you, and I keep going and entertaining everyone like you guys do. And yeah, I'm so pleased that you've come back on. This is, like I said, this is all for me. This is almost nothing to do with you apart from fulfilling my euphoria moment. I'm now going to bottle this video and I'm just going to play it to myself to sleep every night.
Okay.
Which sounds weird. Thanks so much for joining me. Good luck for the rest of the year, next year, and forever. Catch up. Hey, we'll get you back on again, maybe. You never know. But all there is for me to say, thank you everyone for listening. It's been a lot of fun for me. I hope you've enjoyed it. Obviously, go and check out everything that Steve N Seagulls have got out there. If you haven't already, then you're way behind the times. I'm now going to go and add to my 74 million views of Thunderstruck. But yeah, like and subscribe everything from Geoff Jones and Friends. I'm not even going to worry about self-promotion on this one. It's all there is time for me to say is it's a goodbye from me, and it's a goodbye from Remmel from Steve N Seagulls. Say goodbye, Remmel.
Thank you. Goodbye, and take care. We'll be back in UK in 2025, I think. So we'll see you there.
Fantastic, and I will be there. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thanks. All right. Take care.